Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for this live stream. And we are going to be here talking about the WPL final. It is going to be played between Delhi Capitals and Royal Challengers Bangalore. Now, for all that we know, these are the two teams who have never won a trophy, especially when it comes to cross franchise cricket. Now, Delhi Capitals have always come close in their franchise cricket teams. It'll be Dubai Capitals, or let it be in the South Africa T20, but they've never won a trophy, even in the IPL or even the last season WPL. And RCB have always been on the quest for trophies. So the first time tonight, one of these franchises is going to end up with a trophy, and that's the most beautiful thing about today's final. And talking about which, we're going to be talking about this final. I mean, there's a lot to talk about when you look at both the teams. Let's start off by talking about how teams have come so far, isn't it? Delhi Capitals has had an astounding tournament thus far. If you look at the way in which they played so far in this tournament, they've been untouchable of sorts, except that one game you can say they lost it from a winning position against UP Warriors, where Deepti Sharma had to pull out her brilliance. You have to say Delhi Capitals have been the team to beat. And RCB came very close to beating them last time around, but RCB still lost the match by 1 run. I mean, it was just incredible from the last over in the which Rishabh Ghosh almost took the game away from Delhi Capitals. But this is where we talk about the big turnarounds and how champion teams are made. You felt like Delhi Capitals are the champion team for this season, primarily because of multiple reasons, right? Number one, the way in which they've been able to construct their team, just brilliant. I mean, just talk about the form in which Jemima Rodriguez have been in, right? I mean, Jemima Rodriguez have been the player to watch out for this season. Not because she's always been scoring runs, but this season in particular about the impact of the runs she has scored. She has turned it around for herself. She has come out there. She has been exemplary, to say the least. Every game she has gone out to play, she's been able to make a match-winning effort. That power game she has been able to, add into her game has been really, really valuable. If you just talk about from a perspective of the team, it really matters. One thing we've been talking about Indian women's cricket in general has been the power game and the lack of efficiency in power game. We've always had players who could do it, right? We could always had a Shefali Verma here and there, but not quite multiple players. And this season, we've seen some of them, especially Jemima Rodriguez has been one such player of this season who's really been able to do things quite different, and she's been able to make that impact. And to add to it, Shefali Verma as well. I mean, we talk about Shefali Verma, she's always had that power game, she's always been flamboyant, but to add to all this, she's also been one player who's been really, really eye catch. Now, the fun fact for today's game is that there have been 4 occasions where RCB and Delhi women's Capitals team have played against each other, and all 4 of the occasions it's been Delhi Capitals. It's 4-0, but it wouldn't all mind if it's for tonight's win for RCB. And RCB will be aware of what Delhi Capitals bring into the table. Let's talk about some of the best players to watch out for tonight. We've talked about Jess Jonathan. I mean, she has been really, really good in this particular WPL. The way in which she's been bowling, along with the Radha Yadav for Delhi Capitals, has been really good as well. Both have picked up 13 wickets each, and economy under 7.5 for both of them has been just a brilliant stat, isn't it? And if you talk about just talking about the stats, if you ever talk about the stat which these both have, Ellis Perry for RCB has been outstanding. I mean, what more to talk about than Ellis Perry? Ellis Perry has been possibly she's going to go down as one of the best sporting icons the world cricket has ever seen because of what she really brings to the table. You saw what she did in the last game. It was just a single-handed effort from Ellis Perry with the bat. And when you talk about from the Delhi camp for a batter to watch out for, it has to be the counterpart in Meg Lanning. I mean, what a tournament she's had so far. Once again, she's continued from where she's left off. Uh, to be honest, she's an excellent player to watch, to say the least. She's been always on the charge, 382 odd runs this season, and also at a decent clip. And Shefali Verma has scored close to 300 runs at a strike rate of 156. As I mentioned, you can pick up 4 players who are really going to be eye catching and batting, and it has to be Smriti Mandana, Ellis Perry, Shefali Verma, Meg Lanning. And these are counterparts because Smriti Mandana will exactly know that it's her night to score big. And you can say she played a false shot in the last game around to throw away a wicket in a position where she had to really build. She know what exactly was the issue she had to face up with. But tonight it's going to be different. Tonight it's a different game. She will have to take up responsibility. RCB are on the cusp of getting their maiden ever title. And to add to this, the pressure, right? Smriti Mandana will know that there's a lot of hopes dangling around her. Now, when you talk about Delhi Capitals, they've been very successful, especially as an opening batting pair. Shefali Verma, Meg Lanning has set the stage ablaze. They've both been very successful in terms of the runs they've scored, both scoring close to in combination of close to 600, 700 odd runs, and that's phenomenal to see. And on the other side of things, RCB has not had that stable opening stand, right? They've had tried different players. They've tried Sophie Molyneux recently. They've had Sophie Devine. Maybe tonight you might say Georgia Wareham start opening the batting as well. They want to try Hemalata for a couple of games in the opening slot, but Meghna in the opening slot. But the fact of the matter is, they've not been able to stick on to one particular pair. RCB, they've had Smriti Mandana being there, especially this season. She's been much more consistent in comparison to the last season. But still, opening has been an issue for RCB. But when you talk about on the other side of things, Delhi Capitals, though they've had such good opening stand, their middle order batting, right? Let's talk about, particularly, we have to talk about someone like a Jemima Rodriguez. Jemima Rodriguez has been outstanding this season, as I mentioned. The impact she's been able to create. It's just not about runs. When you look at the stats, she might not be in the top 3 run getters of the tournament, but the impact she's been able to leave is just phenomenal thus far, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And that's been Delhi Capital's biggest strength, right? Now, if you have someone like Jemima coming out there and you're creating that impact every now and then, that really makes a world of difference. And that's been her strength. I mean, if you look at the last few games she's played, right, you can say that's been very impactful. 158, 169, 138. Every game she's been up there amongst the runs, and she's been able to score those impact runs at a very good clip. I mean, we talk about runs being scored. Yeah, if Jemima Rodriguez was scoring runs, if I have to say, she's been scoring 38 of 35 balls, or for the matter, scoring 69 of 50 odd balls. That's not the Jemima Rodriguez we're talking about. The MI women's game, especially the game against MI women, where she scored the 69 odd runs, that really showed an arc of what Jemima is and has achieved in her career. That 33 ball knock of 69, that was just peak power hitting and peak class batting from any cricketer you could see. I mean, that's the potential she has got, and you all know that she's already risen into the world stage in multiple occasions. But now maybe is a time to see a new version of Jemima Rodriguez herself. She's gonna maybe unleash herself. So she's gonna be extremely pivotal in this Delhi Capitals batting for them to really have a really good game tonight. And talking about Alice Capsey as well, she's had a very, very decent season, underrated. She's not scored a lot of runs when it comes to stats, but she's been able to contribute whenever it need be. Those tipping those 40s, 30s, 20s, very, very crucial knocks all long. And Mizen Cap as well. Mizen Cap is another player we have to talk about, because what she has done is she has given the Delhi Capitals that kind of stability that she can come in and ball a little bit. She can contribute, hit those big shots whenever needed be, and that's very, very important. And to add to which, they've got the batting depth of Jess Jonathan, who's not just been contributing with the ball, also with the bat. She's been pretty decent at times. She's scored those important 10, 20 runs whenever the team has needed her to do that. So when you talk about Delhi Capitals batting in particular, you have to say that they've got variety of players who can step in at different places in different situations. And for Delhi Capitals, especially this season, one of the biggest strengths they've had is their bowling, right? Jess Jonathan has been outstanding, but Mazin Cap, along with Ashika Pandey, has done a very decent job. Tita Sadhu has done a very, very decent job as well with the ball. I mean, this is what we're talking about. If these people can really step up, they've been really good as a bowling team. I mean, they're not the best of names when it comes to power packed bowling, but the Indian bowling contingent has really stepped up with their overseas batting power they've got. That's been the perfect blend for this team. When you look at their batting, Shefali and Jemima has been really good when it comes to Indian batting, but then if you look at their core, it's been around the overseas picks, right? But this season, especially, what they've been able to do is to have a strong overseas batting core along with Indian bowling core who has been complementing each other, and that really matters in tournaments like this. If you have a strong overseas contingent in one department of the game, that certainly complements the other. With when you can have a good Indian contingent, and that's been very, 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 very successful when it comes to Delhi Capitals as well. But talking about final today, uh, It is, you have to say Delhi Capitals are the strongest team. They are the team to beat, and RCB will be wary of it. But RCB, what they've done is they've punched above the weight, right? Especially the last two games they played. The game against UP Warriors they've had was outstanding to start the campaign with, but last game against Mumbai Indians was possibly the moment where you really felt like this team believes in itself even in the last moments. And that's been the difference what RCB has had from the last season. They believe that they can win games from any position. And that's a very good mentality to have, especially when you're going into a final like this. And RCB hasn't had the smoothest of runs in this WPL as well. They've had their jitters, they've had their heartbreaking moments, and that's been one of the biggest strengths for RCB this season. I mean, they've been able to navigate that and come to the final, right? Let's talk about the last game they faced against Mumbai Indians in the eliminator. You have to say from 26 runs required of 21 balls with Harmanpreet Kaur and Amelia Kerr batting, 98% of the teams, the bowling teams don't end up winning from there. And we're talking about Harmanpreet Kaur and Amelia Kerr, possibly two of the best batting pairs you can get when it comes to finish line. And to win a game out of that particular situation and to to find themselves in the final, outstanding. 33 for 4 while batting and to score 130, 140, near to 140 odd runs. Ellis Perry stepping up, Georgia Wareham playing a very crucial cameo in the context of the game. These are things which I'm talking about, right? Ultimately, when you talk about the context of the game, it's these smaller contributions along with one major contribution which really galvanizes the team. And that's what the team like a team like RCB has been able to achieve in this season in particular. I think as we go ahead, I'm pretty sure in this game, in this particular final, especially, you will see different characters step up, and they'll need different characters to step up, especially in a game like this. They'll know that they'll have to be on the mark. They'll know that they'll have to be at their absolute best tonight to win this final because they know what they're up against. They're possibly up against the best team of this season. And if you put cumulatively in 2 seasons, this has been one of the best teams, right, to beat. Even they're possibly strong as the Mumbai Indians of last season. They've been that good at the Delhi Capitals team, and they've come out with a lot of purpose. They know they had an opportunity to win the last season. They were in the final, but they've really come out fighting this season. They've really come out, showing the world that we are a team to beat. We're not there to be pushed around. We're not mugs out there, and that's really helped this team to be very fair in a long run. And ultimately, we don't know. This final. It's a game of margins. I've always believed, and it always is about who can handle the nerves better, who can take that extra stride, be fearless in the final. We often notice that teams who are fearless in the final often go on to win. The teams who crumble under the final for who makes it a big deal doesn't necessarily go on to win. So this is where RCB will be wary of what they're up against as well, because they'll know that they can't afford to let down the guard. Yes, they want the eliminator, great, but then can they create history, right? Now, why this such an important game for RCB, the franchises? They've always been the closest to a trophy multiple times, and they've never been able to win it. They've come very close in 2016. They've come close in 2009, 2011. They came close as a franchise. Just not talking about women's cricket in general, as a franchise. If they break that particular hurdle of not winning the trophy tonight, it's just not the women's team who's going to benefit. It's the entire franchise. The mentality might just shift. That's also going to really see. You're also going to see that effect in the men's team. You want to draw inspiration sometimes, and sometimes it's not a bad thing to draw. You just look at the women's team and like, okay, wow, our girls have done it already. That's a very good way to just to push ourselves because they're not the favorites to win this WPL. And they still go on to win the WPL. That'll be historic in its own way. And for Delhi Capitals as well, they've come very close multiple occasions across franchise. They've come close with Dubai Capitals. They've come close with Delhi Capitals, the men's team. Last year they came close in the WPL. In the SA20, they've come close, but they've never been able to achieve that particular feat of winning that title. And tonight they know they have got that opportunity to get the first ever title for the franchise. And that's same, it's a paradigm shift ultimately across all franchises. You're going to be like, okay, we've broken that jinx, and that really is a massive factor. And that's what's going to shift mentality, legacy, everything together. Smaller things matter when it comes to sport. And in sport, we don't talk about legacy. We often talk about legacy in terms of different contexts, but legacy in terms of winning trophies really go a long way when it comes to achieving that final feat. And you have to say, one team who did that, Mumbai Indians were very successful in doing that. Tonight, they're not part of it. but we're just moments away from the toss. We're very interested to see who's going to ball first tonight because as I have a feeling that captains who might win the toss might just want to chase. Though scoreboard pressure is one of the additions, but I have no idea. One thing we have to notice in the recent past is in finals, setting the score has been much more tougher than chasing a score because the pressure has been how much do we need. That calculator has not really worked for a lot of teams. Not a bad option, and it's Delhi Capitals who won the toss, so we'll know what they're going to be doing. Then such sports we're going to be seeing in moments from now. And but yeah, Delhi Capitals have won the toss and they're going to be batting first. I just spoke about team doesn't mind chasing, but they've gone with the old strategy of big final, bat first, runs on the board, different pressure game altogether. So that's the strategy Meg Lanning has opted for tonight. But very interesting for RCB. They'll know that they Delhi Capitals have also decided to bat first because they'll know last time around they put up a score on the board and they put RCB under pressure. Though they won by just one run, that's going to play a big factor. But for RCB, not a bad thing. I was just talking about not a bad idea to bat second in a final nowadays because the pressure is slightly different in these finals. Why I say this is because to put a total on the board and you're putting at 20 overs, you're still unsure. Is it a 160 pitch, is it a 170 pitch? In trying to decide it, you might just crumble for 140. And that is where it's not a bad choice at all. And RCB will know exactly what they'll have to be doing right now. And but let's be honest, and but Smriti Mandana also come out and saying that she wanted to bat first. Obviously, it's a final. Batting first really does help in terms of psychological advantage. But let's be honest, I don't think it's going to make a big difference at the end of the day because if the pitch is going to stay true for 40 overs of the game, you have to go out there and you have to chase whatever total you have in front of you. And RCB will know they'll have to hit the money, pick up the openers, make the inroad. Delhi Capitals will be under tremendous pressure. From Delhi Capitals' perspective, they'll know that put the opening bowlers of RCB under pressure, just put them on the back foot. Then they'll start feeling, oh my word, what's going to happen? Is it going to be the same thing like last time around? Are they going to score a 180? And are we going to find ourselves in a big position, tough position again? So these are thoughts they're definitely going to go through. So Delhi Capitals will have to impose themselves on RCB, but at the same time, RCB will know with one plan. You know what? Get the openers, get Shafali and McLanning. We are in the game 100%. And and that's going to be one factor to look on for tonight's game as well. And to be very honest, RCB will be really hoping that the pitch doesn't turn a lot in the second innings. The pitch stays the same. It looks like a fresh surface for this particular game, so that's going to be really good. The pitch looks good from the looks of it. It's got a little bit of sheen, and whenever the Delhi Kotla pitch has got the sheen, it's always tends to play a little more better than what we always see. It's going to be massive for RCB. Yeah, so the RCB have made one change with Meghna coming in for Shweta as well. So that's an interesting call. I mean, that they've also gone with that stability factor because Meghna, we've known that she takes a little bit of time, but she's going to have that extra bit of, so it brings that extra bit of stability in the top three. And that's why RCB is going to be wary of. They have to restrict the Delhi Capitals team for close to a 150 odd score because they'll know it's not going to be easy chasing. Pressure is going to be on them, but ultimately, it's about what what how you can turn things around, right? Restrict the small team, restrict to a score close to 150, 160, and back yourself because anything about 170 tonight, Delhi will be on the better position for all due reason because firstly Delhi will know that it's their game to lose from here on because they've got this small advantage of batting first in a final. But at the same time, they'll also be under slight bit of pressure, as I mentioned. They'll know that they'll have to set the right target. But if they fail, that is in terms of not assessing the pitch, and if they fail, that's where RCB will know. Just get them out for 145 and chase it down. At the same time, Delhi will be knowing that 175 is going to be a very safe score on this pitch. If pitch turns, Jonathan will be in the game throughout. And also, if you look at the way in which likes of Radhika Yadav, or for the matter, even uh, Shika Pandey's ball in this tournament, one thing we see is an accuracy factor. They both have been extremely accurate in this particular tournament, and they'll know that we have to not really tinker with our lengths a lot. Just get the 170 that gives the bowlers that extra bit of cushion to go out there and defend. You always want to give your bowlers in big finals that extra bit of cushion. And if you look at how RCB is lined up as well, uh, I think most likely you're going to see Meghna open the batting. That's also because they trust Meghna to be up top to be much more better. And Smriti Mandana might just be their aggressor. Meghna might just play the anchor's role. And you will see a Sophie Devine most likely batting at number 4 or number 5. And Elise Perry is 3 because you give Elise Perry as much balls and she can really maximize it. And Richa Ghosh at 5 really gives this team that extra bit of, you know, extra bit of that adaptability factor. But, now it's about feeling yourself good, not a bad option. We often talk about batting first, a massive factor. But in the recent past, as I mentioned, to be as a unit together on the field initially really helps. That energy gets going, right? The moment you pick up the first wicket, the moment you ball one good over, the energy is really up there and the momentum is with you from there on. So that's where RCB will know that. And you'd want to go out there and have a good game ultimately. They'll know that just go out there, enjoy themselves because, these opportunities don't come often. And Smriti Mandana will know as well. Smriti Mandana has been part of multiple finals, so she knows how it is like to be playing in a final. And Elise Perry, who better than Elise Perry to give a pep talk by saying, we, she, there was an interview given by Shriyanka Patil, who went on to say that, Elise Perry just really helped the team to calm down in the last over by telling everybody to breathe out and breathe in just to calm things down. And that's Elise Perry's experience because she's a world champion, right? She's a world champion across formats, and you don't get that kind of experience every day in your team. And Meg Lanning is another factor for Delhi Capitals. She's a world champion captain. She has captained Australia to multiple world titles, and she exactly will be knowing what to do in this kind of situation. And she exactly will be knowing what is the right strategy. She's a very ruthless captain. That's what we can understand from the body language and the way in which she has played cricket. She's formed this team around her. So tonight's game, just talking about tonight's game in general, it's about locking horns and it's about who is able to play fearless. As I mentioned, teams who play fearless win finals, and that's always been the case. You need to take that fear factor final. Number one. Number two, just go out there and enjoy yourself. Put your body. Let's go and do something more extra. Just go out there and enjoy us a little bit more. And that mindset has really helped. If you look at some of the best, let's talk Australia for example, right? The Australian women's team has been so successful because they've lost their fear for final and they go to every final by thinking that we're the best. Similarly, the Australian men's team as well. You saw what they did against India, and then on 19th of November, they just went out there, set that tone on the field, and then really turned things around. So that's exactly what teams will have to be doing tonight. Just go out there, set the tone, and that's going to really have that extra bit of shift in the way you're going to go out there and play your cricket as well. So if you're watching this live, do comment down below who's going to get the WPL title and who is on advantageous position. Possibly, yeah, Delhi Capitals winning the toss is massive advantage for them, but still nothing to be said. If RCB can pick up a couple of wickets up front with their openers being their biggest strength, I think then RCB are well and truly in the game to dominate. So yeah, that's a very interesting call. We're going to see that in moments from now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, especially if you're new here. Do not forget to subscribe and like to our channel. And also check out our course on Mad About Sports on cricket analytics, as I mentioned. It's going to be a very wonderful opportunity. IPL is around the corner. And if you've always had a dream for working in IPL, wanting to, work with a media company, wanting to work with your favorite IPL team or a sporting team, this could be a stepping stone into your career. You can make a career as a data analyst. Now it's a very lucrative job with all leagues across the world glooming up. You can make a career in it. You might have maybe failed as an opportunity to be a cricketer, but still you can make it to your favorite team. You can possibly give strategies to your favorite players. So this is your opportunity. Do not miss out on this chance. The link is down in the description. Have a good time, all of you. See you all soon. Bye-bye.